you really don't have a cap on the number of these things. So why do these things have any value? I mean, the whole value prop of Bitcoin, as we all know, is the cap on issuance. And frankly, that's one of the things that really disturbs me. I've heard from time to time, not many, but I've heard a few Bitcoiners. I was on the stage with one over in England who said, well, cap's a problem. We got to maybe grow the cap at some slow rate to account for, more usage in a bigger world. And I was like, what are you talking about? Keep in mind, they use a birth death model. They've got, none of these numbers are trustworthy, Brennan. I mean, they're all, and frankly, that's one of the things that really disturbs me. I've heard from time to time, not many, but I've heard a few Bitcoiners. I was on the stage with one over in England who said, well, cap's a problem. We got to maybe grow the cap at some slow rate to account for, more usage in a bigger world. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, if any core developer proposed that, I hope they'd be laughed out of the room. The cap is the cap, period. So
Wait a minute, everyone. Get ready for the ultimate crypto investing website, the Bitcoin Seller. It's your golden ticket to an exclusive insiders club. Expert predictions, on-chain data, and breaking news, all for you. Imagine all crypto insights landing in your inbox daily, like having your own expert team. Don't miss this VIP opportunity. Click the link and secure your spot. Join now and ride the crypto roller coaster with the Bitcoin Seller. Lawrence Lepard, a gold and Bitcoin investor. In this video, he will share his insights on the overlap and the differences between gold and Bitcoin, and how he changed his views on alternative coins. He will address some of the common questions and challenges that both gold and Bitcoin face, such as: how do gold and Bitcoin appeal to investors who distrust fiat currencies and government policies? How do skeptics and scammers affect the reputation and adoption of Bitcoin? How does the generational gap among gold supporters influence their attitude towards Bitcoin? How did Ethereum and Litecoin lose their appeal to him? And why did he focus on Bitcoin instead? How does Bitcoin's fixed supply set it apart from other coins? And why does he believe it will not change?
let me just give you some data that you find helpful. I go to gold conferences. I speak at gold conferences. I always ask, how many of you guys own Bitcoin? About half the hands go up. So, there's a lot of overlap. I mean, I think gold people are generally speaking Austrian economists. We all know that fiat's doomed. So in that, gold people and Bitcoiners are completely aligned. They hate fiat. They know the government's debasing their wealth, and it pisses them off. Okay. Some of the gold people, I think, have been locked in kind of the old mindset that if you can't touch it or feel it, it's not real. They're not digitally astute. They don't understand what immutable digital stuff is. And frankly, I get it. I mean, everyone was skeptical of it when they first heard it. Some of the gold people, they look at guys like, Sam Bankman-Fried or even guys who I think are pretty legit, but very promotional like Pomp. And they say, oh gosh, it's just a lot of arm waving and promotional crap. How can it be sound money when it's got these clowns in it? And obviously the shitcoiners, in my opinion, did a lot of damage to the underlying thesis of Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's a legitimate technological innovation. The shitcoiners are not. They're unregistered securities where they can, usually the people at the top control the issuance, and they've issued themselves coin, and they're running pump and dumps. So, and gold people are good at sniffing out fraud. And so they see that and they go, oh, I get it. These guys are fraud. Yeah. Therefore, everything in this area is fraud. And they haven't taken the time to understand technologically what Bitcoin is and why it's different than shit coins, and why the Sam Bankman-Frieds are not anything like any real Bitcoiner would ever be. I mean, and what's ironic is many of us who saw Bankman-Fried on the stage at, these shows and so forth, we knew this guy was a bad guy. It's not hard to figure it out, and, but, the SEC let him run wild, and, it ended as we all kind of knew it would, in tears, and so on and so forth. So, but, gold guys, I don't know about Peter Schiff. I mean, maybe he owns some Bitcoin secretly. I don't know. His son does, which I find interesting. But I don't know. I think some of it's a generational thing. They don't want to spend the time to understand it. Gold has served them well, and so on and so forth. But I found over time, I mean, I've had many people, I ran a fund that was only gold and silver miners pre-Bitcoin. And because I started the fund, actually started in 2006, and I've had a lot of those people be very suspicious of Bitcoin, and I've converted them, by explaining why it makes sense. And just so you know, that fund right now is about 85% gold and silver miners, because that's what people invested in me for. But it's about 15% Bitcoin and some Bitcoin companies. And And, I've had a couple of people leave me, say, I was only with you for gold and silver. You did this other shitty stuff. I'm out. So I own some Ethereum and I own some Litecoin. And I was smart enough or lucky enough when I could. Remember when they forked Bitcoin a couple of times? It was Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash. I got those, and if they were tradable, I sold them and just bought the major coin because I was pretty sure the forks wouldn't work. But no, I never promoted the shit coins, and I never went crazy on them. But I used to be of the view that there was a place for shit coins, and some of them would get used. And before Lightning came along, I thought, well, maybe it was clear to me that Bitcoin was a superior store of value because of its size and the just the different, the way it was constructed, it was going to be the store of value case. But I thought, well, you know what? Somebody's going to make another coin that's really good for transactions. That's cheap. That for under a penny per transaction, you can transact digitally. And of course, I couldn't see the Lightning Network; it didn't exist. And so, I was wondering, well, is that going to be Litecoin? Is that going to be Cardano? What is it going to be? There might be some other solution. So I owned a few of those for a while. But as time went by, particularly when Lightning emerged, it was like, and as I got to see the monetary policies of those other coins, like Ethereum, I've been like, what has he changed that policy like 6 or 7 times? And I mean, it's just like, okay, you really don't have a cap on the number of these things. So why do these things have any value? I mean, the whole value prop of Bitcoin, as we all know, is the cap on issuance. And frankly, that's one of the things that really disturbs me. I've heard from time to time, not many, but I've heard a few Bitcoiners. I was on the stage with one over in England who said, well, cap's a problem. We got to maybe grow the cap at some slow rate to account for, more usage in a bigger world. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, first of all, there's no way the nodes and miners and everyone else going to agree to do that. But second, if any core developer proposed that, I hope they'd be laughed out of the room. The cap is the cap, period. So, yeah, so I've had a little bit of a shitcoin experience thinking that maybe some of them would work. And now I'm pretty sure they're all going to die. I could be wrong about that. 1 or 2 of them might make it. I don't know.
Lawrence Lepard discusses the similarities and differences between gold and Bitcoin, and how he changed his views on alternative coins. He explains how both gold and Bitcoin are attracted to investors who distrust fiat currencies and government policies. He also acknowledges the challenges that Bitcoin faces from skeptics and scammers and the generational gap among gold supporters. Credit Suisse expects gold prices to resume their uptrend above $1,800 as the US dollar weakens and inflation pressures persist. It also cites the technical analysis of gold, which suggests a bullish breakout from a triangle pattern. Bitcoin prices will target $45,000 after reclaiming $40,000 as the market sentiment improves and the spot ETF launch. It also shows the technical indicators of Bitcoin, which support the bullish scenario. Lepard shares his personal journey of investing in Ethereum and Litecoin, and why he eventually abandoned them in favor of Bitcoin. He emphasizes Bitcoin's unique feature of having a fixed supply, and why he believes it will not change. He concludes by saying that he no longer sees any value in other coins and that Bitcoin is the only viable option. The price movement of Ethereum, which broke above $2,300 and is eyeing $2,500. It also mentions the factors that could boost Ethereum, such as the upcoming upgrade, the NFT boom, and the DeFi growth. Litecoin price bulls eyeing $150 after breaking above $140. The price direction of Litecoin, which broke above $140 and is eyeing $150. It also highlights the positive developments for Litecoin, such as the Mimblewimble Testnet, the Grayscale Litecoin Trust, and the Litecoin Foundation. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.